All right, the Yamaha FZ-07, a bike many people know and love, including cops when they roll past them on a 12 o'clock woolie. These bikes have become very popular, and for good reason. It's because Yamaha put a very torquey motor in a light chassis, made everything pretty decently affordable, and that's how we end up with an FZ-07. This bike is naked, so it does not have any fairings to protect you from the wind. Shoop. It's also more upright, so you're not aching your back when you're doing a little bit more of a longer ride. Longer, I don't mean 3 hours, I mean instead of 5 minutes, 30. It's like long-term. This bike long-term is not a long-range highway bike. You could definitely get away with it, don't get me wrong, but just to make sure I'm keeping expectations clear. But it's a lot of fun, and the reason why I said that about wheelies is because this bike is so torquey and forgiving that a lot of stunners will use this bike for their stunt bike. They'll obviously throw a big cage on there, throw even more upright handlebars on there, put a handbrake on the bike, and then there you go. You pretty much got yourself a full stunt bike. But besides the use of wheelies, this bike has been used by a lot of people all over the country for, commuting to and from work, first bike, like I said, stunt bike, and eventually this motor did so good here in this platform that, and did so good on reliability as well, that Yamaha decided to put this bike's motor, the CP2, into a Tenere 700, which is an adventure bike. Right, and then they also threw it into the infamous R7 that everybody knows about, and I laugh at that move and how it was responded to, because look at how popular the FZ-07 MT-07 is, and then look at how hated the R7 was as soon as it came out. It just was in the wrong category. They gave it the wrong name, but I won't go into that. So the FZ-07, what that tells me when a company does that is that this motor did so good that they're okay with basing 3 different bikes off of it, which means that 3 different bikes have the opportunity to fail if this motor sucks, and it does not. It does not at all. This motor is very good. It's reliable, tried and true. About 26,600 miles out of the first valve service. We've sold bikes like this with 40,000 miles on it and a warranty. These things just last almost forever. You keep on top of valve services, oil changes, things like that, and you're gonna have no issues. It's also pretty easy to work on. I can probably find my oil filter from here on the bike. Oh, just barely not, but it's definitely down there. We have one, I promise. And I could definitely see my oil drain plug from there. So this bike is really easy to work on yourself. I will not excuse any shop oil changes because I can't do it. It's pretty easy. Also really great off the line. Negatives about this bike are probably just could use better brakes, but my main one is the suspension, and I don't say that as just an overall everybody's gonna hate the suspension. I think it's more just if it depends on how serious you're gonna be in the corners specifically, and I guess when it comes to comfort too, this bike is dead smack in the middle between a comfortable cruiser and a fun sport bike. Got a lot of torque off the line, sort of like the cruisers, but that sort of gives you the fun factor like sport bikes, and upright seating position like the cruisers, and lightweight body like the sport bikes. But master or jack of all trades, master of none is what they say, but still better than a master of one is the rest of the saying. But basically, whenever that you have something that's sort of a mix of 2 things, you become worse than either side of the things if they were specialized, right? So obviously a Harley is going to be very, very good at highways, good at, you know, like the full dress street glide kind of Harleys, very good at the highways, not so good around the road, canyons, everything else. But highways, hard to beat, right? Sport bikes, gonna be the best setup for the track. You're gonna set the best track times on a sport bike. Take the same rider, put him on a Harley, he'll do worse. So specialized again. Now when you have a mix of both, to the average Joe, you'll be a lot better off than one or the other, because you get a mix. You know, life isn't all highways, life isn't all twisties either, all races. So it's kind of nice to have a little mix of both. But ask yourself what you're going for. If you're going for a 2-hour ride kind of bike, this thing is going to get kind of heavy on the butt. The stock seat is not super comfortable. The highway winds are definitely going to tear you up. You know, I know myself, I get kind of annoyed of doing more than an hour and a half on my sport bike because of winds. If I'm not laid flat on my tank, the winds also smack me right in the forehead. So think about what you're doing when you're getting to this bike, and you'll end up just fine. Overall, it's a really good balance. If you're looking for more power, definitely go for XSR 900 if you have more experience. But if you're a beginner, don't take a single step over this bike. I would say, I know a lot of people who started on the FZ-09, so it's not like it's impossible. But those kind of guys, that guy actually is the only person I know started on the FZ-09, and he's a very, very mature person. Like, I remember him being like, you know, very anal about when he would start to accelerate fastly and when he would start to do wheelies, when he would start to go canyons. He had everything out planned meticulously so he didn't take it too far too fast and get himself hurt, and he did it very well. Shout out Roman, by the way, if you somehow are watching this, man. Yeah, man, great guy, but definitely a lot more mature than most riders will be on their first bike. So I will not say that I know a lot of people that started on the FZ-09s and did okay. It is a very torquey bike. It's very fast. There's no steering stabilizers on those guys, so it's really easy to end up in a tank slapper if you don't know what you're doing. This bike can also come up if you kind of do it at the wrong time. If you're going into like first gear, whoa no. If you're going into like first gear, you bring it up and you dead throttle whack it, it'll come up. That was second gear, third gear, so I didn't try it. By the way, if anyone's watching, I would never do that. Oh, nice Raptor. So yeah, this bike is also super good at splitting lanes. So if that was part of your plan, is to use it for work, I could totally see this bike like nailing what you were going for. Save time in traffic, save time on gas. I think this thing can get close to 50 miles to the gallon if you ride it right. And learn how to ride. It'll do it all. Very fun bike. So final impressions on the FZ-07. This is my first time riding this bike, and I needed to come up with something. I've ridden this bike for over a month before, and yes, you know, suspension's all right. Average Joe, it's going to be just fine. Torque is great. It's my favorite part. Ease of use is probably my second favorite part. Not a ton of weight, so super easy to just bring it around the road, you know, sort of like an on-road dirt bike, man. Just bring it over. So final impressions, great bike. ONYXMOTO.com, you can find this one online, working just fine. Thanks for riding.